So, Ginger,
Yeah?
you know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What? Like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about? Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
Now I'm Ginger Brown.
I have a minor update from last time.
I will only be taking major updates at this time.
Well, this one is being forced by the operating system. You can't avoid this one.
I don't
It's going to
agree.
restart while you're not there.
I don't agree to the terms of service.
Last time you mentioned the horse dying in Neverending Story,
Uh-huh.
and I said Atreyu.
And it's not Atreyu.
It's Artax. Artax is the horse.
Right.
Atreyu is
Atreyu
the guy,
is
the boy that rides the horse.
Right. Okay. What's the name of the flying thing?
Falcor.
Falcor.
The puppy dragon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Falcor.
Atreyu
The
and
kid-
Atrax are very similar.
Artax, yeah. They're very similar and easy to mix
Yeah.
up, I think. But Atreyu is the one that's riding him and is yelling Artax or whatever.
Clearly, I just agreed with you, so I was just like, sure.
Yeah, you
said it with such confidence that I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
well,
probably right.
to be fair, you could have just been like, yeah, sure, that guy's in that.
yeah,
right, like-
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's the correction. Should we do our podcast that we do where we talk about podcast ideas?
Well,
Probably.
I thought that's what we were doing already.
We were just talking about a previous episode and how we said something that was wrong.
Have we said a podcast that's all corrections? Oops, all corrections.
I did, yeah.
You did,
You did
okay.
not like it at all.
Okay. Well, that sounds
I suggested a
vaguely familiar.
podcast.
I don't remember the things we've talked about.
I suggested a podcast where it's we start the episode with corrections, and then as we're going through all the corrections from last time, we say some stuff that was wrong, and we never actually get to the actual podcast because we run out of time, and then the next episode we have to correct the things we said that were wrong, and then the previous corrections, and it just goes like that forever.
Yeah.
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 It's pretty hilarious idea.
Very funny. And now I've come up with it too.
Yep. What a good idea that was that you had.
That I had all on my own.
Do you want to start this week or should I?
I could start.
Okay. Go
My
for it.
First idea is called, well, you know that there's a podcast called Can I Pet Your Dog?
Yes.
This is Can I Pet Your Cat?
Okay.
But we don't really see cats just walking around outside. So this would be, we go to people's houses,
Okay.
knock on their doors, hope they have cats, and ask them if we can pet their cats.
So we don't ask, do you have cats first? We just ask, can we pet your cat?
Can I pet your cat? Yeah. And we hope that they have a cat.
Do we? Do we hope that interaction continues?
Yes, I want to pet all of the cats.
What if they do have a cat
I have a shirt that I can wear when we go to do this podcast that you bought me.
that says, I just want to pet all
I
the
am
cats?
here to pet all the cats.
Yeah. Okay. What if they do have a cat and they say yes, and then we come inside and it's like one of those cat from hell situations where the cat does not like to be touched and will definitely claw your face off?
Then it's going to make for some very interesting audio.
So we're recording this whole interaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Describing it. Okay, now the cat is under the bed.
Now the cat's jumping on
Its
my face.
pupils are hella dilated.
The cat just puked on everything.
I'm gonna go in.
I'm putting on my
putting on my heavy duty leather glove.
yeah my feral cat petting glove. Okay. And it would just be we go to one house per episode and try to pet their cats, or
Yeah.
would there be any other segments to this?
Well, it could be multiple. It could be multiple houses. It really depends on, how many people's doors we knock on have cats and how easy it is to pet said cats.
Right.
Because it could just be an in and out situation.
Right. It could be a open and shut case of a cat getting pet.
Yeah.
Or we could go to a house where they have like 12 cats and it could take an hour. Because, you know,
'cause you're thinking
each
like
cat
10 minutes.
each cat needs at least 5 minutes of pets.
5 minutes per cat.
Yeah, clearly.
I said 10 minutes and then I realized, no, that would only be 6 cats.
Right. That would be 2 hours, which, you know, is plausible as well.
Maybe the 12 cats would break up into multiple episodes.
I mean, if we both have to pet them, each cat for 5 minutes, and we don't do them in parallel, then it would take 2 hours.
This week's episode is a 2-parter.
And it's just like audio of like...
Yeah, that's ASMR for someone probably,
yeah, I guess so.
Right?
And meanwhile,
you just hear purring.
Meanwhile, the cat owner's like, I think you've probably been petting that one for long enough.
Yeah.
Or like, so this is your podcast, huh? Does anyone listen to this? You have a lot of followers, do you?
Nope, but no one listened to the last one we were making either.
I guess if every person whose house we go to goes to listen to hear their own cats getting pet when they were there and remember it, they probably would still go and listen to it at least a little bit, right?
Yeah,
probably.
maybe.
So we might end up with a decent amount of listeners.
Like our cat is famous.
It would have
that's my cat's purr. That's cat number 6.
Yeah. Who doesn't have a name. I have 12 cats and I just named them 1 through 12.
I assume if you have 12 cats, you just number them.
I feel like if I had 12 cats, the first like 5 would have fun names, and then after that I would go with like Septimus, Octimus, or what Octus, like go for at least like Latin numbers or something. I don't know, something to try to make it a little bit more of a name.
Yeah.
Than number 12 or whatever.
Yeah. So you see a scenario in this lifetime where you have 12 cats?
No, I see a scenario because I just conjured it up from my mind palace. But
I don't think you saw a scenario in this lifetime where you had 3 cats.
Yeah, not particularly, but
Yeah.
I do feel like 3 is the threshold number.
That's
We've
max,
talked about this before, but like more than 3 cats is getting into dangerous territory.
We had to have more people in the house before we could have more cats.
Right. And if you have 4 cats, why wouldn't you just have 5 cats? And if you have 5 cats, why wouldn't you just have 6 cats?
Yeah, because if you go over 3, it's like, I mean, I guess
might
this
as well
house
have
just
as many.
belongs to the
Yeah,
cats
might as well
now.
have as many cats as want to be here, I guess.
Yeah.
They own this house now. Okay, so Can I Pet Your Cat? I don't know if Can I Pet Your Dog? I've never actually listened to that podcast, but I don't know if that podcast is actually the people on the podcast going up to people like outside and saying, can I pet your dog?
Yeah, no, it's probably them talking about, I mean, like, we could talk about cats. We could talk about our favorite cats.
Yeah, I feel like
what's your favorite cartoon cat?
My favorite is probably Heathcliff, but only the Heathcliff in the Heathcliff comics, which are completely bonkers and are like it's literally like Heathcliff has a helmet on and the helmet says ham on it, and there's 2 birds sitting on a tree or something being like, what a weird day today or something. Like, it's so, and he's got a hat that says ham, he's got a flag flying in the yard that also says ham. It's like he's riding a little bike that says ham or something. Like, it's just like completely weird stuff like that. If you haven't seen it, I'll have to show it to you later, because
I feel like maybe you told me about this before.
In fact,
but yeah,
I'm gonna do our idea that we don't like, which is when I read comics on the podcast.
Okay, and you're gonna read
and I'm
one?
gonna go find those. Okay, here's an example of a Heathcliff comic. It's a couple of, I guess, butchers standing outside their shop. Their shop has a sign on it that says meat, and they're looking up into the sky where Heathcliff is flying by in a blimp, and the blimp also says meat on it. And the butchers are saying, I'm surprisingly emotional.
What?
That's the comic.
What? Let me see it. Is this real?
Yeah, and there's a bunch that are like... This is
the real caption? This isn't like somebody recaptioned it to make it weirder?
I can't prove that, but I've seen a lot of them and they're like that. Here, let me find another good one.
This way, can I describe this one?
Yes.
Okay, so this one is there are who I presume is Heathcliff's owners looking out the window, and another neighbor is looking over the fence, the next door neighbor. Heathcliff is walking down the sidewalk. He's walked out the front door, and he's in a giant baked potato costume, and it says he's been on a baked potato kick.
Yep.
I just I don't really know what to do with any of this information.
So this is very similar to the first one I mentioned. The two butchers are in their meat shop that says meat on it. And now this time, Heathcliff is driving past their
He
store.
drives.
He's
drives
driving
cars.
past in a tank.
In a tank.
The tank
Okay.
says meat on the side. The tank has a flag coming off of it that says meat. Heathcliff has a helmet that says meat. There are a bunch of children standing in front of it cheering, and it says, "Children love the meat tank." This comic is
How
so
did
nuts.
this get published?
I don't know. It's so nuts.
Who
and
is this for?
I love it. It's for me, I guess.
It's for you. Okay.
I love it because it's so weird. And they're not all about meat. Here's one where Heathcliff and two robots are walking down the sidewalk. There's a big robot and a little robot. The big robot is wearing a yellow shirt that says robot. The small robot is wearing a yellow shirt that says tiny robot. And Heathcliff is wearing a shirt that says not a robot. And there are two birds looking at him. And one of the birds says, "I'm not a robot either."
This artist really likes to label things.
Yeah, but it's like really funny. It's like so weird that I don't get it.
Okay, Heathcliff might be my new favorite cartoon.
Okay,
cat.
here's another weird one, and this
Is
will
this
be
going to be our comic? This is going to be our podcast this week.
just describing Heathcliff comics.
Yeah.
It might be. Okay, this will be the last one I read for right now, and we can come back to this if we want to.
I mean, we're definitely coming back to this in real life.
In real life, yes. Okay, Heathcliff is standing outside, raising a flag on a flagpole. He's standing next to him is a little frog, and the flag that Heathcliff is raising says Jimmy and has a picture of the frog. And
Okay.
there are two old ladies inside looking out at them through the window. And one of them is saying, "He flies that flag on most major holidays." What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why would he do that? Why would any of this?
All right.
And the ones that we're looking at right now, none of these are the ones I was thinking of.
Okay.
There are so many, and they're so weird. Anyway, so that's my favorite cartoon cat.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah. Who's your favorite real life cat?
Are you asking me to pick favorites of our cats?
Okay, who's your favorite movie cat? Because you can't pick a favorite of our cats, but it's obviously Goosebump.
It's not Sock. I can say that much. Movie cats. I'm trying to think of what movie cats there even are. I guess there's Milo from Milo and Otis.
You want me to name some movie cats
There's
for you?
there's the one played by Sally Fields in Homeward
Incredible
Bound,
Journey,
The
yeah.
Incredible Journey.
Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey.
I believe so. There's the cat in Cat's Eye that stops the kid from getting his breath stolen by the little gnome that has a knife, a wiggly knife.
Salem.
There's Salem from, well, that's a TV show, but sure. There's
Movie or TV
yeah,
cat.
sure. There's a movie that I saw at some point as a kid based on some Stephen King thing. I think it's called like Sleepwalkers or something like that.
Sleepwalkers had people that turned into cats.
Yeah, people that turned into cats. And I just remember like they were related, but they also had sex and turned into cats.
It's a very, very weird story.
Definitely
Weird
not my
movie.
favorite movie cat, just one that's occurring to me.
So who is your favorite movie or TV cat?
do you have some more entries to pick from?
Well, I already know what my favorite is.
Well, do you have some other ones you could suggest though besides Salem?
Um,
There's Binks from Hocus Pocus,
Binks from Hocus Pocus is a good one too.
who's a little boy, but he's also a cat.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if there are cartoons on TV, right?
yeah.
There's Garfield and
Yeah, there's that cat from Coraline.
Oh, he's a good one. I don't know if that cat has a name.
I don't know if that counts because I was thinking of like actual cats, but if
like
we're
live action real cats.
yeah, but if we're including claymation cats, then he's my favorite for sure.
Okay.
Um,
But he was voiced by Keith David, I believe, but I don't know if he had a name.
how about the cat from A Talking Cat?
That cat was not my favorite.
How about any of the cats from Cats?
None of them.
How about
were
the
my
Idris
favorite.
Elba cat?
He might be my least favorite cat, except for the Taylor Swift sex cat,
Yeah.
who I very much.
They
did
were
not
both
like.
Idris Elba and Taylor Swift cats were both like weirdly sexy.
Yeah, but
but
she
in
was
a
like
creepy way.
the Taylor Swift cat was like only sex,
Yeah.
only sexy. She had boobs and high heels, and that was her whole thing.
God, that was a
The Idris
terrible
Elba
movie,
cat,
wasn't it? It really was bad.
yeah, the Idris Elba cat at least was like evil and could teleport people
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And there's like a cat named like Skimbleshanks, and that's a pretty good name, I guess.
I
right?
tried to look up movie cats, but all that it's bringing up is lots of articles about how terrible cats
The movie Cats is, yeah, sure. Okay, so who's your favorite real cat in a movie?
Real cat would be the cat from outer space.
Oh, the Abyssinian cat or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That was not a particularly good movie. It was a very pretty cat, though.
It's a fun movie, I think.
I remember it being pretty boring, but
But it
and
was one of my
but-
favorites when I was a kid. So
Yeah, yeah. We did watch it at our bad movie night group, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So you suggested it, and it's not like you were saying.
Yeah,
this was a
but
great
bad
movie.
movies can be good movies.
True, I guess so.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a very, very pretty cat.
Yeah.
I agree.
Abyssinians are very pretty.
There's a cat in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, yeah, cat.
Yeah, there's Data's cat on Star Trek.
Yes.
Spot, which is
Spot.
definitely several different cats that look very different from each other at
Oh,
different
right.
times.
That's right. You did point that out to me. When I was little, I really liked the two Siamese cats from Lady and the Tramp,
Okay.
which are very, very racist
Nowadays
characters.
they're pretty problematic. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't
were
know
then
that
too,
as a
I guess,
kid,
but-
I loved the like mischievous twin cats.
Right. All right. So, what was this idea? Cats? Something about
Can I
cats.
pet your cat?
Can I pet your cat? So we could just talk about cats. This is
Uh-huh.
a cat fan cast.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically.
yeah,
and we might go talk to people and see if we can pet their cats.
and I know enough about cats that I feel like I could keep this one going
Yeah.
for a while.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, what do you got this week?
My first idea is called Disaster Simulator.
Okay.
And we imagine disasters and what might happen in them. I am reading a book right now. I just started it recently called Seven Eves, which is by Neil Stevenson. Seven Eves is like a palindrome.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know what that title actually means yet because I'm only a few chapters in. But the premise of the book is that one day the moon blows up for no apparent reason,
Okay.
and
Maybe there's
it's like what's going to happen after that.
Maybe there's a baby dragon inside it.
That's a bad Doctor Who episode. That's bad not just because the plot is stupid, but also because it I think is like accidentally an anti-abortion play,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Like I read that the author said he didn't mean to do that, but it pretty clearly does have an anti-abortion message, which
Yeah.
is weird.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
And in that one, the moon breaks up because it's an egg for a dragon. The dragon comes out, immediately lays an egg, and flies away.
And
so
then
nothing
everything's fine.
nothing happens actually.
Yeah.
Which is not how anything works. But
Yeah.
anyway, not that.
Yeah.
But and not necessarily the moon blowing up.
We could talk about what would happen if the moon actually did hatch into a dragon.
I guess. But I mean, I think it would be similar to what would happen if the moon blew up for another reason.
Yeah.
Right. But then there would also be a big weird dragon.
Well, they were going to blow up the moon anyway in that episode.
Well, to kill the spiders inside the moon or something. Right.
I have to kill the creature inside
Yeah,
the moon
yeah,
because they don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Which seems like it would have other implications as well.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that episode. It's a stupid episode. But other things that could happen, like we would just come up with like, disasters that could happen. They could be world ending or more local or, and we would just, kind of talk about what that might affect, what might be different. I don't know, like if a big if the mega volcano went off in Montana or whatever, it's like what Old Faithful is like attached to or whatever, right? There's like a mega huge volcano system that could blow today or in a million years or something.
I don't feel very qualified to talk about
Yeah.
like what would happen in a disaster. I don't feel like
I mean, it would be
I
stuff.
know enough.
Yeah, and it could be stuff that's less realistic and stuff we just make up, like aliens come and blow up Big Ben or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Or
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of like just making shit up because I feel like I'm better at that.
that's more in our wheelhouse
Yeah.
than knowing stuff about
I
anything.
don't want to like, I don't want to be fact checked. Please,
Yeah.
please don't fact check me.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, that would be less. less susceptible to fact checks, I guess.
That could be fun. It could also be kind of depressing.
True. I mean, we could try to limit it to stupid, silly disasters, I guess.
Like, what would happen if all the cows disappeared?
Right. That would be a weird disaster, I guess. And actually, they'd probably have some pretty significant consequences, I guess. But we'd have to talk about it and think about what they could be.
No more ice cream.
Or like, what happens if 50% of people on Earth randomly become 3 feet shorter? Like, just become halflings or something. Like, just weird random stuff that like affects everybody but isn't necessarily
Maybe
gonna
things
destroy the world.
become more accessible.
Yeah, that would make sense.
All right. Do you want to hear my other idea
Sure.
this week? Okay, my other idea this week was, and I don't have a name for this one, but a podcast where we test like home remedies and old wives' tales.
Okay.
So we I think there's things like, oh yeah, if you want to get red wine out of a shirt, you use white wine.
Does that work?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Okay.
But like that kind of stuff.
Okay. So that would be, we'd have to hear about some old wives' tales or whatever. Or
Yeah,
home
I mean, there's
remedies.
plenty of them for like stains. I know that.
Right. Right.
Like,
So it would be a little bit of a Mythbusters-ish thing, maybe?
yeah.
Okay. But more specifically about that kind of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we could talk about some of like the old wives' tales that we've heard. Why are they called old wives' tales?
Probably for some misogynistic reason.
Right.
Old wives are always gossiping about stupid shit or whatever, I guess.
But occasionally useful.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if something is useful, people don't say it's an old wives' tale. They only say it if it's not real or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like that's an urban legend or whatever.
Yeah.
It's only
Yeah.
if
I
it's
mean,
not
I
true.
think it would be particularly interesting to like do the things that people like think of as old wives' tales. See, maybe some of them actually do work or are true.
Maybe. Or find what the grain of truth is in them, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
What else do you got this week?
So another idea I had was some previous episode I talked about an idea where we come up with songs that like speak to a very specific emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? And
No, but I believe you.
well, so part of the problem with that idea was that we aren't songwriters. I have sort of written a couple of songs for this podcast,
Yeah.
but they're nothing very involved, right? They're
Yeah.
the most basic you can do as far as songwriting goes, I would say. But so why don't we do it where it's not songs? We just talk about very specific situation, like a very specific emotional situation that doesn't have a word for it. And we can kind of nail down exactly what it is and how it feels. And but hopefully it's one that like a lot of people have run into and there just isn't a word for it or whatever. Maybe we even could come up with a word for it, I guess. But
A song about being so sleepy that the thought of brushing your teeth before bed feels overwhelming.
this is not a song. That's what I just said. It's not a song.
Okay.
But an episode could be about that.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
A whole episode
You
about
need
that.
to brush your teeth, but you feel overwhelmed because you're so tired or
Yeah.
whatever. Maybe that's specific enough that a lot of people maybe that feels different than other kinds of being tired or other kinds of being overwhelmed or whatever.
Yeah.
Sufficiently that we could say that was an idea.
It's the kind of tired where honestly the thought of oh, I have to put on pajamas.
Yeah.
I gotta put on pajamas. I gotta change out of these clothes. I gotta take these clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gotta put on other clothes.
One flaw I'm seeing in this is that you and I are in a period of our lives where we are mostly experiencing different kinds of being really tired. But, maybe there's something. Today we went to an Easter. It's Easter as we're recording this. So today we went to Happy Easter, everyone. We went to an Easter egg hunt. We took Svetlana and we took Rory. Rory is, 16 months and Svetlana's 12.
It was an unmitigated disaster.
It was completely bad. It was so bad. It was we went out to this farm where they have this thing every year and it's free. And there were 100 kids for each, because it was in 2 age groups, one for little kids and one for bigger kids.
One for kids 5 and over and one for kids under 5, which is quite the
6
range.
and over and 5 and under, but yeah.
Yeah, which is quite the range, by the way. Like there's a
Right.
lot that happens from 0 to 5.
Right. And a lot that happens from 5 to or 6 to 12 or 6 to 15 or however old the oldest kids. I imagine
Yeah.
there weren't any 15-year-olds.
I don't know how everybody else's babies are doing, but our 16-month-old cannot compete with a 5-year-old
Right. Right.
when it comes to finding eggs.
Well, and it was set up so poorly. Like all the eggs were just on the ground in some areas. So all the kids that got there first just got all the eggs, and we weren't first, so we didn't get any eggs.
And
So
it's
anyway.
the same for the under 5.
Yeah. And so anyway, it could be like the sort of disappointment, but more you're just like, well, this was a stupid thing. That's not our fault we were a little bit bamboozled for even coming to this stupid thing because it was so poorly set up.
Yeah.
And like Svetlana was definitely a little bit disappointed, but also,
Mad.
yeah, kind of mad, but also kind of don't care because there wasn't going to be anything amazing in the eggs. It was just going to be a fun little like, oh, found a few eggs or whatever.
Yeah, I think they had like stickers in them or something.
Yeah, or whatever it was. Yeah, that's probably what it was. And like, so it's like a weird combination of like disappointed, angry, but also apathetic.
Yeah.
Like, this is dumb and it shouldn't be this way, but also it doesn't really matter. We'll just never go there again
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a weird sort of specific thing that maybe other people have felt at certain sorts of
Yeah.
situations.
I would add to that I felt like, I felt something similar because we split up
Right.
because you went with Svetlana because she's obviously over 5.
Right.
And I went with Rory to the other group. And I felt something similar that was like an anger on his behalf because he didn't get to like participate at all because literally all the eggs were gone within like 30 seconds.
Right.
But also like, well, it doesn't really matter. He doesn't know what's going on.
Right. It doesn't matter at all. So you can't get that mad about it.
Yeah.
But why is it so dumb?
Yeah.
Right. Like they didn't hide the eggs anywhere. Like if they had at least hidden eggs, then kids who got there later might find ones that other kids hadn't found. Right.
Yeah.
They were just on the ground.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I only saw a few because by the time we got there, we were following behind we were sort of in the middle of the group. We weren't at the front, we weren't at the back. But by the time we got to sort of the end of the area where they could be, there were no eggs left.
Yeah.
And most of the kids seem to have not gotten any eggs.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why is
Yeah.
any of this?
Yeah, it was it's very disappointing. And I get a like little bit angry about stuff like that because I'm like, I'm a person that prepares for things. So
Right.
it's very hard for me to comprehend that you would put on an event like that and not think those things through.
And it's not the first time they've had it. I'm fairly sure.
Right. No, because somebody mentioned last year that they had 3 different groups. So they
Oh,
had
they
a
had, like, a
separate one.
toddler
They
area,
had a
right.
separate one for the toddlers, which ideal because toddlers don't know what they're doing.
Right. So they actually failed. They like got worse.
Yeah.
Since last year. Right. Like
Or more apathetic, I guess.
They not only didn't plan, even though they've experienced this before, but they planned worse than they did previously or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and there was an announcer guy there that you pointed out, I don't think his microphone was even really working.
Yeah, you could barely hear him. He was kind of close to one of the areas, but not the other area. He was saying some stuff, but nobody was really paying any attention to him. And it was like, why is this guy even here? Why
But
is any of this happening?
It said that you were supposed to get there about 15 minutes early for instructions, which we tried to do. But the only instructions seemed to be like related to where the donation bucket was. And then the rest of it was just, oh, we'll be starting soon.
Yeah, we got there like 13 minutes ahead of time. So maybe they had 2 minutes before we got there of useful announcements.
As
but
useful,
I don't think
hey,
so.
if you don't want your kids to be disappointed, you might just want to leave now.
Yeah. I mean, and then for the older kids, there also were a bunch of kids that like left before she finished counting down to when we were supposed to be able to run out and get the eggs too.
Clearly,
Like,
they've been through this before.
yeah, like they just ran ahead. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, okay, then there's literally no chance. It was just really dumb.
Yeah. And Rory ate a rock.
Did he swallow
Didn't
it?
swallow
Okay.
it, but I was trying to pay attention to what was happening and the instructions and all of that. And then all of a sudden I realized that he was just chomping on a rock, had a bunch of dirt in his mouth. I had to wipe his mouth out. He cried about it.
Yeah. It's so funny how he'll pick up a rock and eat it, but we hand him a French fry and he has to like play with it for 5 minutes before he'll put it in his mouth.
To be fair, I think he did play with the rock for quite a while.
Okay.
He was like, he couldn't figure it out from that. So then into the mouth
Had
it went.
to put it in the mouth. Yeah.
But he was chomping it. Like, that's when I realized what was happening, is because I could hear it clicking against his teeth. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's happening? It took, when sometimes something takes you a second to be like,
What am
this
I parsing?
sound shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have other ideas, or do we want to kind of pick something?
I guess let's see if any of these are popping for us and,
Poppin'.
popping and locking for us.
See if
And
okay.
And if not, we can try to find more ideas.
All right. Is anything popping and locking for you?
I kind of want to talk about
Is that
Heathcliff
if we're
comics
using
more.
that phrase correctly, fellow kids?
We are not, but we're owning it, and so now it's a new
Now it's
new
a new
thing.
New thing.
That's cool because we're cool.
Okay, so what have we had this week? We have Can I Pet Your Cat? We
Yes.
have disasters.
Disasters. We have very specific feelings, and your second idea, which
And
was
Old Wives' Tale /
Tales
Home
and
Remedies.
Home remedies, right? I honestly kind of want to just keep talking about Heathcliff comics, but I don't think that's good audio. I just think it's funny.
I mean, I always want to keep talking about cats, so
Yeah.
there is that. But I am open to going a different direction if there's something you want to talk about.
I'm feeling like the idea for specific feelings, I guess I don't totally know where it could go now that we talked about it a little bit. Like, here's a thing that happened to me, and I guess that's specific, but is that a specific feel? I guess we would have to think of other situations where you had the same feeling,
Yeah.
to make it a feeling rather than just a specific thing that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has there ever been another time when you felt a combination of angry, disappointed, but also apathetic that you can think of?
That I can think of right now, right this second, in my sleep-deprived brain.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm also having trouble thinking of other examples.
We could come up with other feelings.
Yeah. I think it might be one where we would have to come up with stuff. I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't have to come up with stuff ahead of time, but it might be a boring podcast if we talk about some feelings for a while and then be like, well, I guess those are too specific. Nothing.
Yeah.
They're not really anything. So maybe we don't.
So maybe we stick with cats this week.
Maybe we do something else. I don't know if it's cat. I mean, I honestly do just want to look at a bunch more of these Heathcliff comics and talk about them, but I don't know if anyone wants to hear that.
Well, I don't think that should probably be the whole rest of our podcast.
Okay. Do you have cat topics you want to talk about? I mean, is this just a cat fan cast? Or
Yeah, it's just
I mean, Can I Pet Your
podcast.
Cat is a good name for it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I did kind of steal it from Can I Pet Your Dog.
Oh, yeah, but that's fine. That's fine.
What is your favorite cat breed?
I honestly don't know cat breeds that well. I guess I think
You like round boys.
I do like round boys. I guess I like, Scottish Folds are cute.
Yeah.
I like those cats that are have really, really short legs. Those are really cute.
Scottish Folds are really cute, but I feel like they shouldn't be continuously bred because you're breeding a deformity that actually hurts the
Yeah.
cat.
Same with those really short-legged cats too. I
The
think.
munchkin cats.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
so cute.
They are very cute. They have a lot of problems though.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone out there listening, you should just go to a shelter and get a cat that needs
Yeah.
a home.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have less health problems than purebreds generally.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when I think of a cat, I think of a short-haired, just kind of regular cat. I guess Goosebump, right?
Yeah. But if I were gonna get a purebred cat, do you know what one I would get?
Would you get an Abyssinian or would you get a Devon Rex?
A Devon Rex
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Devon Rex are great. If you've never seen a Devon Rex, they have giant ears.
They're basically
They look like fantasy cats.
They're basically like Sphinx cats, but with a little bit of hair.
Yeah,
right?
they got short curly hair. They're hypoallergenic. So if you're allergic to cats,
Right.
this is a cat that you can get that
That won't
won't
that.
won't
trigger
make your
allergies.
eyes water and
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and do all that stuff. But they're very interesting looking. They've got very big eyes and very big ears.
Mm-hmm.
And like, actually the cat in Coraline kind of looks a little bit like that. Like, I enjoy.
I feel like that cat's supposed to just look kind of mangy. Or
yeah,
something.
but he's got like the real big ears and the real big
Yeah,
eyes.
Yeah.
And you give something big ears and big eyes, and I immediately love it.
Yeah, sure. I guess I like. Is it Persians that have the really like sort of like
They look like Muppets.
old man face, like
Yeah.
the Wilford Brimley face cats? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Like,
Yeah.
like they look like their face is kind of a big mustache.
Yep, those are
something.
Persians.
I sort of love that and hate it. Like, I think they're funny looking and stupid looking. You know what I mean? Like, it's good and also bad.
But they do look like Muppets.
Yeah.
They look like a Muppet version of a cat.
Yeah, my friend Dave has one that's real old, and its name is Henson.
Yeah, like climbs all over me every time we're over there.
Yeah.
And they also, that's another purebred cat that has they have a lot of breathing problems.
Yeah, because their face is
are
all squished.
squished, yeah.
My grandma has, or at least used to have, no pets, but she had like sort of realistic porcelain cats that would just like sit on the floor in her house.
Did she just collect cat statues?
Not really. There was just one or two of them. I like, if you were far away, you would think a cat was sitting there.
Huh.
And I don't really understand. It's like, I don't want a cat, but I want the aesthetic of having a cat.
The aesthetic of
I
a
guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was like on the floor. It wasn't like on a shelf or something, right? Like it was
They do
a
make
decoration for the floor, which is also weird.
I feel like that's a thing though. Like little animal statues that like guard the room.
Yeah, I guess so.
We've got a raccoon in our living room.
We do?
Ceramic.
Oh,
one.
that's true. We
Yeah.
do. And it does sit on the floor.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's also very small and like nobody would think it was a real raccoon.
No.
And it's also in the corner and I forget about it. I mentioned a second ago that Persian cats look like they have a mustache for a face. And so now I have to read you this Heathcliff comic.
Well, I guess if you have to.
I have to. So here goes. There are two men standing outside of a store that is labeled Barber.
Okay.
And the barber has a sign that says Mustache Monday.
Okay.
And Heathcliff is parachuting in. He's got a parachute and a harness. A plane is flying away that I guess dropped him there. And it says, one of the guys that's standing outside says, he never misses Mustache Monday. What are you talking about?
Is that going to get his cat mustache trimmed?
He doesn't.
Is Heathcliff a Persian?
Well, he's an orange cat. They're not Persians, right? He's like an orange tabby or something.
I mean, I think that you could have like a Persian that was crossed with an orange tabby, I suppose.
I guess.
Let
Maybe.
me see. Let me look it up. Let's see if I can find a picture of an orange Persian because now I want to see that. Let's see.
But even if that were the case, I don't think that makes the comic make sense. Because first of all, what is Mustache Monday? Why would there be what do you need? What do you do on Monday? Oh, that's kind of cute, I guess. It's a little orange Persian kitten. Yeah, okay, I guess so.
Yeah. Oh, wait, this one really looks like Wilford Brimley.
It does, but it doesn't particularly look like Heathcliff.
Yeah. How about this one? Does this one look like Heathcliff?
No.
Do you want me to just continue showing you pictures of cat? Look at this guy. He's sure big.
He's very floofy. He's like 90% floof.
He's 90% floof. They just look so like angry all the time.
Yeah, they look like pissed off in a like old man with a mustache way.
Yeah, they're very grumpy looking cats.
Yeah, but I don't think Grumpy Cat was one, right?
Grumpy cat.
Grumpy Cat had like Siamese coloring, I feel like.
Grumpy cat. I thought Grumpy cat was gray.
No, I don't think so.
Oh no, Grumpy cat had like ragdoll coloring. Yeah, Grumpy cat looks like a ragdoll actually.
I mean, that's like Persian coloring too, right? Like light creamy with a dark face.
It
and
is,
blue
but
eyes.
when they have the white there in the middle, that's a ragdoll thing.
Okay.
We could probably look up Grumpy cat breed.
I mean, it probably says
Just as domestic short hair, but
right.
Breed of Grumpy cat was believed to be a three-way mix of Persian, ragdoll, and snowshoe. So we were
Okay.
both right.
Oh wait, but Persian is in there.
Persian is in there.
She doesn't look like Persian to me, but she does have the grumpy.
She has the grumpy face.
Yeah, but not in the same way that Persians do, I feel like. But I don't know. Maybe they just have a grumpy vibe that gets translated.
What's
in the
your
genes.
favorite meme cat?
Probably Princess Monster Truck.
Yeah, Princess Monster.
Because she looks like literally like a Muppet.
Yeah.
Like she looks like Sweetums, that big monster Muppet guy.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think I would
Grumpy
have
Cat's
to go
also
with,
very good, but
I think I'd probably also would have chosen Princess Monster Truck.
there's also Lil Bub who was very good. Do you remember Lil Bub?
I don't.
Lil Bub.
I do. I am remembering though. Oh yeah, Lil Bub. Okay. Yeah.
Like tongue sticking out.
I
all the
am
time.
remembering that I discovered Princess Monster Truck because I wanted to. I introduced you to Princess Monster Truck
Probably.
because I asked you if you had ever seen what a cat with an underbite looked like.
I feel like Sock has actually gotten one.
A little bit
He's
of an
got
underbite.
kind of a Princess Monster Truck mouth now.
Yeah,
since
but
he's gotten a lot of his
he's-
teeth removed.
Yeah, he had a lot of his teeth removed.
Yeah.
On another note, your sister came to stay with us with
Shout
her
out to
family.
Sarah,
Shout
friend
out
of
to
the
Sarah,
pod.
friend of the pod. And her son has not been around cats.
Oh, he was very scared of
He
the
was
cats.
terrified.
Yes, that's true.
Especially Goosebump, who is the spookiest cat.
He was pretty scared of Sock as well, and Snally's just never around, so he didn't see it. He seemed
Yeah.
just like he wouldn't walk through a room if the cat was sitting there.
He was scared of Sock a fair amount, but he was terrified of Goosebump.
Okay.
Goosebump jumped up on the shelf. So we have cat shelves in our
Oh
living
yeah,
room.
true.
And Goosebump jumped up on one of the shelves and was just watching as Sarah was changing his diaper because the changing table is below where the cat shelves are.
Right.
And I think that Jacob thought that Goosebump was going to eat him because he was screaming the entire time.
Yeah.
There was
And
no
staring at the cat, and like at Goosebump when he like jumped to a different shelf, he followed him with his
there was
eyes.
no calming him down.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what I get? If I was the same size as this cat and I just saw black with two yellow eyes
Yeah.
and I didn't know what was
I guess
going on in
that's
the
pretty
world,
legit.
I would probably be terrified too.
Yeah. Speaking of black, I have another comic to talk about.
Another Heathcliff comic?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, in this comic, there are two children looking into the bathroom. Heathcliff is standing on a scale,
Okay.
and Heathcliff is wearing a top hat, a black top hat that is at least twice as tall as he is. And the caption says, he likes to blame it on the hat.
Likes to blame what on the hat?
I guess his weight on the scale.
Okay.
He's too fat and he just puts the hat on, so he feels like it's the hat's fault. I
Okay.
guess.
But then he's just going to weigh more. I mean, even
Right.
more, right?
Yeah,
Like it's going to be your normal overweightedness plus the hat.
It does not, and I cannot stress this enough, make any sense. Just like the rest of these. This comic is so weird.
What's your favorite thing about cats?
When they do funny stuff, I guess, and how they're cute.
Very specific. I
mean,
appreciate
do you have
that
a
they
more specific.
I appreciate that they purr.
Yeah, purring is good.
I mean, because it's a sound that we can't make. I mean, you kind of can, but they make it by like vibrating their vocal cords
Yeah.
together.
that's how we make sounds as well.
No, but they do it in a way that we physically can't.
No, I know, because they don't do it by vibrating their vocal cords. They have a special box for it in their throat or something.
It's
No, they have a special like extra box for purring, and the cats that roar have it switched to roar mode instead of purr mode. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
I read
I mean, I guess maybe the vocal cords are also there.
that it was the vocal cords being vibrated together. But how does purring work? Vibrations of the vocal cords resonating against the bones of the voice box is what this says.
Yeah, but isn't there a special thing, hyoid or something? Maybe I made that up. That word. I don't know if it's that word.
Hyoid, let's see.
that might be
Is
the bone or
hyoid a
something?
thing? Let's see. Hyoid bone. Well, we have a hyoid bone.
Yeah.
That is this bone under the chin. Anyway, sounds like we were both a little bit right. Anyway, I do enjoy purring. What's your least favorite thing about cats? I know what mine is.
My least favorite thing about cats is when they ruin everything. Like, for example, when
Nice job, you little jerk. You ruined everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like when Goosebump broke my computer equipment for work that I had to get new equipment for, or when I have to clean up cat poop in the morning. That's not my favorite.
Which hasn't happened as much.
Yeah, since we
Recently.
got Sock like medicated.
He's on medication that finally is working for him.
Yeah, when they get the zoomies and like just crash around the house. All
But
batshit
but
insane.
you don't you kind of love the zoomies too?
It's funny, but when it leads to bad things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you didn't even know this, but I had to clean up a bunch of water that was knocked over from a cup that was on the table that they knocked over at some point last night.
Oh, because Sarah had water.
Yep. It was
Yep.
left on the
And
table.
I left it
there
on the
was
table.
Water all over the place.
Like an idiot.
And Goosebump has knocked many things, not even on purpose. Sometimes they knock stuff off on purpose, but usually he just climbs on everything and knocks stuff over.
Yeah.
So stuff like that is my least favorite, I would say.
Yeah. I was going to say claws.
Okay.
Like, I appreciate their claws and what they do with their claws, but just not what they do to me with their claws.
Sure.
Also, one time, Goosebump got a little bit playful with Rory, and Rory started screaming, and we looked over, and Goosebump just had one claw stuck, like snared into his hand, like he couldn't get it
yeah.
out. I don't know if you remember that.
Kind of. One time also Sock just decided when Svetlana was littler, just decided to like bat her in the face and clawed her a little bit. And she like cried. and
that
it
was
so
sad. Yeah.
Like it was one of those cries where it was like a sad look on her face that like built into a big cry.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah. The worst kind of kid cry.
Yeah. And she didn't even do anything. He just like was like bap
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah. He's old and grouchy and all of his bones hurt, I think.
Yeah. I think sometimes like when the kid is small enough, they think they're a regular cat also or something. And so
Yeah.
they're like, get away from my food or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. They
Yeah.
haven't really done that with Rory very much, but
Yeah.
A
No,
little bit with
Goosebump
Svetlana.
immediately became a little furry uncle to Rory.
yeah. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear another Heathcliff comic?
Do I have a choice?
No.
Okay.
Heathcliff is walking on the sidewalk. Two kids are looking out a window. Heathcliff is being followed by 8 slugs.
Okay.
And the caption says, one of the kids is saying, he's got a huge slug following. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is that? That's nothing. Why is this the comic? But it's so good. It's like
Is
this comic
Is it?
hits
Is it good?
a perfect spot of like, it's specific enough that it can be funny, but it makes no sense. So it like, it tickles your funny bone, but you don't know why, I guess, or something.
Can I see the picture?
Yeah,
He does have a very like smug, satisfied look on his face.
he does. And the slugs are all cheering also. Can you see that? They got little arms
Yeah,
sticking
why
up.
do the slugs have little arms? Okay, so do we have anything else to say about cats or Heathcliff?
I mean, I could read you some more Heathcliff cats.
I mean, I figure you're gonna, but do we need to do that on air?
This is one that is one of the ones I was thinking of that I've seen
So
before.
yes, we do.
We do. There's a recurring character called the Garbage Ape. And in this comic, there is an ape and he's swinging his arms around himself. Each arm has a garbage can held in his hand. It's bouncing along. Heathcliff and several other cats who are tall, much taller than Heathcliff for some reason, are cheering. And two owls sit in a tree because it's nighttime. And the owl says, they like the Garbage Ape. And there's a bunch of ones that are similar.
There's a whole garbage ape arc is what you're saying.
Another one that's basically the same, including those same tall cats, says, cats rejoice at the Garbage Ape's approach. It is like, what? And then there's also this one where they appear to be worshiping a big garbage ape. And the birds are saying, the garbage ape makes me nervous.
This is deranged.
It's so weird. It's nothing at all like I remember the cartoon
It's
being.
deranged.
Yeah. But in a weird, in a fun way, for me at least.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
All right. Have we talked enough about cats and Heathcliff, I guess?
I think so.
If you haven't ever seen these comics, I recommend searching for them because they're so unhinged.
Yeah, maybe we'll post the garbage ape on our Instagram. Or maybe, like most times, I will say we will post a thing on our Instagram and then I'll forget to do it.
Did you ever post that
I did not.
Llama dog.
I did not
drew?
post the llama dog, so I will post the llama dog this week.
The llama corgi.
The llama corgi.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in my calendar right now for the day after our podcast comes out, llama corgi.
Okay.
And if I forget what llama corgi means, you can remind me. I doubt I'll forget, but you never know.
Yeah,
I'm real
sure.
tired.
And we do our social media stuff quick.
Oh, yeah. Social media. We have social media. So you can find all of our links to our social media on our website, which is coolpodcast.website. You can email us. We have a new email address just for your wonderful ideas that we really want to hear and talk about on our podcast, which is ideas@coolpodcast.website. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at WhatShouldPod. And you should follow us there. And
We're also
please-
on YouTube.
We're also on YouTube.
What should our podcast be about?
Please follow us on all the things. Like us, subscribe, all of that.
But most importantly, send us ideas.
Most importantly, send us ideas. That's it. That's all I got.
Welcome to What Should Our Outro Be About? The outro where we try to figure out what this outro that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm still here.
And I'm also still here.
So I don't have anything besides just wanting to read more of these comics. And I think we
knew-
maybe shouldn't.
I knew
keep
that's
doing
what you
that.
were going to suggest.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the listeners maybe don't want more of that. But I
Yeah.
want more.
maybe we'll do a bonus episode. if
Where I
that's-
literally just read Heathcliff comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, get
We'll
in the
start a
Yeah.
Patreon and you have to subscribe to it for just that.
Yep.
That podcast.
That's going to be a very popular Patreon.
Yeah.
I can tell.
that could be getting into like some dicey legal ground, maybe. I don't know.
Probably not if it's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Like, maybe. I don't know.
Our outro could be just us making our best cat noise.
Wow.
All of our best cat noises.
Wow.
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 This is my impression of Sock. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Don't get a Siamese cat.
Yeah. That's the sound he makes when he wants food or when he has food but forgot that he already has food.
I think sometimes he even just forgets what his food bowl is because he'll walk around howling. And then I'll just take him and set him by the food bowl and he'll start eating.
Yep. Is that our outro? Is that it this time?
That's all I got in me.
Yeah. All right. We are tired.
It's just a bunch of cats in there.
Inside of you is 2 cats and also
It's way more than 2 cats.
and also several more cats. All right. Well, I guess that's the podcast. We're sorry and we won't do better next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure it out. Didn't catch what that was about.